Clare Crawley just got a slew full of new men competing for her final rose on the upcoming season of The Bachelorette. And let's just say that the hit franchise did way better this time around. This is your Bachelor Brief. So ABC got some major heat for casting Clare's season with a bunch of young guys. Remember, she is the oldest Bachelorette in the franchise's history. But due to the coronavirus pandemic, this might be the only silver lining from the entire pandemic. Production was forced to halt just before Clare was supposed to meet her suitors at the Bachelor Mansion in March. Now, nearly 4 months later, Clare is getting ready to find her forever love, but with a new cast of men. There are now 42 contestants in total competing for Clare's heart. Of the pretty hefty list, 25 guys are new, and 17 men are from the OG casting pool. But before we meet the cast, we have to point out that the new groups range in ages from 25 to 40. Yes, we totally stan. Also, 15 men from the OG casting was cut, including our boy Matt James, but you know he's probably busy prepping to be the next Bachelor. Okay, now it's time to meet the suitors. First up, we have AJ, who is 28 from Irvine, California. Next, we have Alex, who's also 28 from El Paso, Texas. Third, we have Ben, who's 29 from Indianapolis, Indiana. Next, we have Bennett, who's 37 from Atlanta, Georgia. Next up, we have Blake M., who's 30 from Rockport, Indiana. We have another Blake M., who's 29 from Burlington, Canada. Next, we have Brandon, a 28-year-old from Cleveland, Ohio. Next up, we have 30-year-old Brendan from Massachusetts. Chasen, a 31-year-old from Walnut Creek, California. Next up, we have Chris, a 27-year-old from St. Louis. Collins, a 30-year-old from Virginia. Dale, a 31-year-old from Brandon, South Dakota. 26-year-old DeMar, who calls San Diego, California, his home. Ed, a 36-year-old from Pittsburgh. Ellis, a 26-year-old from Illinois. 34-year-old Garvin is from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Gary, a 29-year-old, is from Cleveland, Ohio. Ivan, who's 28 from Dallas, Texas. Next up, we have Jason, a 31-year-old from Vermont. Jay, a 29-year-old from Langhorne, Pennsylvania. Jeremy, a 40-year-old from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Joe, a 36-year-old from North Windermere, New York. Next up, we have Jordan, a 26-year-old from Southampton, Connecticut. Jordan M., a 30-year-old from Des Moines, Michigan. Josh, a 31-year-old from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Carl, a 33-year-old from Miami. Next up, we have Kenny, a 39-year-old from Illinois. Mike, a 38-year-old from Calgary. Montel, a 30-year-old from Massachusetts. Noah, a 25-year-old from Oklahoma. Next up, we have Paige, a 37-year-old from Santa Fe, New Mexico. 32-year-old Peter, who's from Massachusetts. Riley, a 30-year-old from Detroit, Michigan. Robbie, a 31-year-old from St. Pete Beach, Florida. Spencer, a 30-year-old from La Jolla, California. Teen, a 36-year-old from Great Neck, New York. Next up, we have Tyler C., who is a 27-year-old from West Virginia. Tyler S., a 36-year-old from Dallas, Texas. Yozma, a 29-year-old from Dallas, Texas. 29-year-old Yosef, who lives in Mobile, Alabama. Zach C., a 36-year-old from New Jersey. And last but not least, we are on number 42, people. Zach J., a 37-year-old from Washington. Oof, okay, that was so many guys. We have to point out that Reality Steve did recently claim that the franchise flew all these guys out in case a, quote, extra man needs to step in if any test positive for COVID upon arrival. So not all these guys will be competing for Clare's heart. What do you think about the casting? Let us know in the comment section below.